The cursed episode finally is happening. We had all kinds of scheduling issues that prevented us from playing until now. So, welcome, friends and floorheads, to episode 7 of Mothership's Dead Planet. We have got everybody here. One quick announcement. Actually, I think almost everybody is a member of the Kickstarter that was slightly successful. So, hats off to Tuesday Night Games and Sean on that one. And we got an alpha version of the new rules. And quite frankly, they're amazing. So we are going to play with these new rules. So as we're playing, you'll notice that things are slightly different. It hasn't changed a lot. Every change that has happened is better. Real quick plug too, for those of you that are following and fans of Mothership, Hull Breach is a Kickstarter that's happening right now. I've got an interview with Ian, who is the editor and one of the creators in Hull Breach. So make sure you check that out on Tabletop Talk. Let's fade into the episode. We fade in from black, and I think the camera opens at 5 faces staring at the camera, through the camera. We see Watts, we see standing, looking. We see Frankie and the Major with gun ready, just kind of dumbfounded. And then we see Arlo with a bit of a grin maybe on his face and just pockets full of dirt and plant life. For the past several hours, each of you, along with Dean, your stowaway, have been traveling through this alien swamp on this dead planet. And for a lot of you, I think for all of you, it's the first fresh air you have breathed in who knows how long. So everything's enhanced. Everything is richer. All the colors are more vivid. Everything smells new to you. And then you came upon a clearing as you followed the signal for this distress signal that brought you to the planet. And in the clearing, about 200 yards in front of you, there's a building. And from where you are, you can tell it's made of some sort of reddish tinted metal. And what it looks like is somebody took a huge sphere and just smushed it on top of the planet. So it's almost like a flat donut, one story out in front. Arlo, you immediately notice as you look down as the lush swamp ends. There's a distinct border at your feet. And for the 200 yards from where you're standing in a concentric circle around this building is just dead earth, almost similar to the type of earth you saw on the moon where you found the colonists. Dean is beside himself. Guys, come on, let's go. And he steps onto this dead earth and starts running towards the building. Come on.
Dean, wait a minute. You can't just waltz in there. Just get over here, man.
It's the signal. They're in there.
No way. Get in there. We will need to sweep the area with Mr. Bilfoy and take a look at our surroundings, and then we will carefully approach the building. Get here immediately.
So he stops and kind of stands there and kind of puts his arms up. Well, come on.
Yeah, well, come on. Mr. Bilfoy, you will take it from the right. I will walk from the left side. Keep your eyes peeled on the surrounding area and on the surrounding jungle, and just report immediately if you see something suspicious. Mr. Watts, please take care of Dean before he does something crazy, and we will report back right in a minute. And yeah, I will approach walking from the left side of the building, trying to clear the area, checking for any anomalies.
So to give you a sense, Major, the building itself is at least 150, 200 yards in diameter. It's a large building. And as you and Frankie are approaching kind of at the flanks, Dean has now come back to where Watts and Arlo is. As you're approaching, the air tastes different than it does in the swamp. All of the lushness, all of the moisture that you sensed and felt for the last several hours are now gone. And as you look at this building, obviously, I think one of the things that you're looking for is windows, doors, some sort of entrance. There are none. But there's a huge section that's been blown away. and it's dark. You can't see into it, but you can see that you can gain entrance via this blown out area.
Okay. When I felt the change in the senses, was it like immediate change, like when I stepped over some threshold, or was it like slowly it changed and suddenly I don't?
Yeah, slowly, right? So the atmosphere changed, but it wasn't like a barrier that you walked through, right?
Yeah.
It was somewhat gradual, but it matches where you're standing now. The dust kind of kicks up as you're walking along here, which before you just had this rich, fertile soil and swamp that you were walking through before. And as you get closer, you know, when you're in Washington, D.C., and you can tell when you're looking at an old government building, right? Just the architecture of it, you know that that building was designed and built long before anybody on this game was born, and it just has that look to it. Even though this is similar, it's a similar feeling. When you look at this facility, you can tell this facility was built a long time ago, so it's vaguely familiar because you've seen things similar to it in books, but you can tell that it's old.
Okay, Mr. Belfoy, it seems that we have some entrance to this building. Let's check the area, and meanwhile, when we are checking, I will signal the others with my hand, some army sign or whatever, to just get closer to the building.
Dean starts running.
Arlo is probably the slowest of the group, still looking back at the swamp and thinking, but we just got here. Like, I don't want to leave the forest.
What do you think, Mr. Waits? Some kind of terraforming or reverse terraforming building?
So at this point, I'm guessing this conversation is probably happening right as the transition of the atmosphere is kind of happening. And he's kind of dumbfounded by it. So yeah, he just looks at the android and just shrugs. He has no idea. But he's kind of quiet during this whole thing because he has a bad feeling.
Arlo, I'm gonna have you, as you're walking, put your hand in one of your pockets. And before you felt, you know, this rich dirt as you did it. You put your hand in your pockets and something feels different. And as you pull your hand out, the soil that was in your right hand pocket is now this dust, and it just slips through your fingers.
Okay, so at that point, I start checking my other pockets, the ones with maybe plants and roots.
And as you pull that out, the soil is devoid of any type of richness, of any type of life. Whatever plants that you had pulled out are now dried and withered. I need a sanity save.
Oh boy.
Everyone or just Arlo?
Just Arlo.
Great.
For now.
Hey, don't ask that question that we don't want the answer to. 33.
Oh, critical success. So in this system, when you roll below, it's a success, but if you roll doubles, right, double digits on a D100, in this case a 33, it's a critical success. Do you have any stress right now, Arlo?
2.
I want you to drop one stress for me. But I want to understand what just happened for you not to only like go up, shit's dying in my pockets and freaking out and getting stressed about it. Just the opposite happened. I wonder why.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it. We're still kind of having this mid conversation, and it's more of a scientific approach. I'm more curious about what happened, but I do explain that I just pulled this. This is the newest thing that I just grabbed. Look at this. Isn't this what's going on?
So whatever's happening here is definitely still active. It's not a remnant of something that happened previously.
And Watts, for you, it started on the Alexa, all the way back on the ship, and you noticed this pulse, right? That seemed to be impacting all of the electronics. You critically saved that at the very beginning in episode 1, so have not been affected by this at all. but you are getting a sense of that. So you're not getting a pulse from this, but the same type of energy, the same type of feeling that you were able to kind of reconfigure yourself not to be impacted by does seem to be emanating from the direction of the building.
I think whatever's happening here is related to what was happening on the Alexis.
Frankie looks up and realizes he doesn't know about this Alexis and the events that have happened.
Well, you were on
that
the
ship.
Alexis, remember?
I was in cryosleep.
Correct. Right.
Right. So I wasn't aware of what was going on, and
Yep.
kind of looks up and, guys, is there something you should be filling me in on?
And surely we've been together for like a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, I would assume you've been filled in, Frankie, as much as possible.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
But that's different than experiencing it, right? So this is all secondhand for you.
And did you mention Dean has started making his way back into
He is now even Steven with you and the Major. As soon as he got the signal from the Major indicating in any way he could move forward, he bolted forward.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't download my babysitter protocols before we lost contact with the Providence.
And I assume as Dean is trying to just like head into the.
I think you intimidated him enough, Major, that he's being respectful and not getting closer than you are at any point. But
okay, then.
Every time you make a step, he makes a step. So at worst, he's a half an inch farther away from the building than you are at any point in time.
Okay, I get it. So I just keep being careful to have him like behind me. If I'm behind the corner, I want him to be like just telling to him like just keep your distance. Like I don't know, the 3-4 feet away from me. When I check it, I will like clear it and will try to explain. I will behave around him like this, and if he tries to run past me, I will try just to grab him by his shoulder or something, not to let him go further.
So he's kind of muttering to himself, just trying to contain his excitement. And out of nowhere, he stops and then runs back to where Arlo is. He goes, "What do you think they're going to have for dinner there? Like, do you think do you think they have like chicken and I heard about like seafood, like people eat like stuff out of the ocean and it's fresh and then they cook it. Do you think what do you think they're going to feed us?"
Yeah, they're totally gonna have goats. I'm pretty sure.
Goat and person stew.
Arlo is completely ignoring Dean, just emptying his pockets of dirt. Just like, okay, I guess the tomato seeds are useless. This plant is garbage now. I'm sorry, you were saying something? He's just...
Were you just carrying all that?
You're not? Do you see all this stuff? When was the last time you saw a tree?
This is amazing. This is so cool. So let's have the Major and Frankie now, within 10, 15 yards of this blown out area. And with your experience and time in the military, the battles that you have fought, the encounters you've been in, there's a couple things that I think you both notice. The walls, the exterior walls, are definitely weathered to this thing. This thing has been in the elements, and it's been in the elements for a long time. But there's a rusting that you're seeing on the metal that's not indicative of the dry, arid, like dome around, right? It'd be something you would expect if this thing was in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
The other two things you notice: one, the wall was blown, some sort of explosives from the inside. It was blown out. And looking at it, you can't get a sense of exactly when, but there's no doubt in Frankie and Major's mind that this happened not 150 years ago when this building was built.
Okay, we have a situation over here. So it seems that somebody wanted to get out, not to get in, to punch this hole through this wall. So we need to be extra careful. If anything happens, our main priority is to run away from this building, from this facility, not to fight. I don't want to see Any fingers on the triggers, any aggressive behavior, shoot only when I start shooting first and not anytime sooner. And Major gives like serious side to Mr. Belfoy. Serious
May I
look at.
propose that we have a designated meeting place, such as the suitcase that we found in the forest, if we get separated?
That's a good point. So let's make the suitcase our main meeting point. Everybody knows how to get to the suitcase. Looks at Arlo. Even you.
Why are you looking at me?
Just no reason. I'm not sure if you're paying enough attention on our way when we go through. So just wanted to be clear that everybody can reach our meeting point there.
I'm not getting lost, so don't worry about me.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad to hear it.
So
So
navigation check.
everybody clear? Even you? And looks at the kid. Oh, damn it, forgot his name.
Dean?
Yeah, Dean. Looks at Dean.
So much like we have on Earth, you guys have been experiencing a yellow sun. It's important to understand that Superman would have his powers on this planet.
What about
But-
Goku?
The sky, Arlo, is starting to turn kind of a reddish orange. And you immediately recognize that, yeah, I guess the sun's probably setting, right? You can see the light dimming off to the west, which is interesting in of itself. The similarities to Earth or Mars with the sun's, east to west, and it's starting to get dark. But what this does for all of you, as the light dims slightly, the environmental light dims slightly, is you can now begin to see inside this blown out area. And the first thing you notice is that the an old white discolored tile floor that seems to be at the bottom of what was the interior, which is now exposed to the exterior. And there seems to be like a yellow light that's tracked all throughout the room. And doesn't take a genius to figure out it's some sort of emergency lighting, right? Something that would activate if power was lost. But it does give you some visibility. It's a decent sized room that you can see into that this has been blown out from. You can see the results of the explosion on the inside, so you can see the scorched areas on this tile floor, and what looks like a desk, almost like a reception desk, that's been knocked over. So based off of the blowout to the outside and the direction of the desk, it appears that whatever caused the hull breach of this building happened between the desk and the exterior.
Craig, with my expertise in explosives, would I be able to investigate that area with that skill to see if it was electrical, if it was what kind of explosive it actually was? What it would?
Yeah. So what's the skill? Explosives?
Yeah, it's expert skill explosives. So I'll get a
Yeah.
plus
Click
15.
on explosive. Let's do an intellect check. I love that idea.
I'm
So
gonna
if
go.
you click on it, you can choose intellect, and it'll automatically calculate your bonus for you. So here's what you can figure out with that failure. You can figure out, one, this was a deliberate act, right? So this was explosives. This wasn't just like the pipes bursting, right? Difficult to get a sense of what the explosives were, the type of explosives. You definitely confirm that, this didn't happen decades ago. It happened days ago. And even with that failure, I think you recognize, because of where the desk is and the amount of damage to the desk and the amount of damage to the flooring versus the walls, it was explosives that were put obviously on the walls, right? So it wasn't like a bomb being set off on the floor, because you would expect an equal amount of damage, right?
Right. It was
So this was,
directional.
it was blown out. Correct. And also, Frankie, you do notice on the ground, you can see the scrap as you get closer, the pieces that were blown away and destroyed here. And you are seeing that there was a door right? So you can see all heavy pieces of heavy door that was there. So it's not like it was just a wall that was blown out.
Mhm. I communicate that with the rest of the group.
Does the desk look like it was flipped down like for cover, or has it just been knocked over from the blast?
I think it's a little hard to tell.
Which way are the legs facing?
The legs are facing you, right? So it would have been blown away from the walls there.
Okay.
You see some of the damage on the front of the desk, which is now facing up. So it would appear to have maybe knocked over when the explosion happened.
Okay. Let's enter this building and scout forward. So we carefully, Major will proceed, enter the building through the breach, and we'll try to look at the door that presumably goes to hallway or something.
Are there any
grab,
computer
Dean.
systems in here?
One more time, DZ.
Are there any computer systems in here?
I'm going to have you go in there, and I'll tell you in just a second. What were you going to say,
Okay.
Frankie?
If when Dean gets close, I'm going to grab him by the scruff, back of the neck, and tell him, "You hold on to my shoulder strap and stay behind me. We don't know what we're dealing with. There's foul play here. Do not go ahead of us."
I mean, okay, but like we know people are in here, right? We got the signal.
They could be hostile. We don't know until we're here.
Guys are such worry words. So, Watts, as you get to the desk, you do see a console that is attached to the desk, and obviously face down on there. And as you turn around to it, a couple things about the console. One, it is old, and I mean, could be 150 years old. Shockingly analog, like it has keys right on it, as opposed to like any type of a touch screen or anything like that.
Barbarians.
Let's do a quick intellect check. You can use computers if you have the skill.
How about engineering?
Engineering works. Very nice. Success. It doesn't seem horribly damaged. It just seems unpowered. So you get a sense that if power could be restored, this thing might be functional.
But we have still the emergency lights. So there's like some, I don't know, running on reserve power or emergency power.
Yeah, is there any way I have a bunch of I have an electronics repair kit and several things that would have a battery in them. Could I jerry rig a power source to it?
We can definitely give that a try. So let me describe the room to you. You notice that all of the walls kind of match the outside of the building. So this building seems to be also built as a series of concentric circles. So there's no straight walls. Everything has a curve to it. Everything's got a old like History Channel feel to it, right? Like you're watching like back in the 30s, this is what things looked like. To your left, there is a hallway. It's hard to see because of the way of the curve of the walls go. It kind of gets out of your sight. And this is definitely some sort of greeting area, reception. You can see a couch there. You can see what remnants of maybe like a coffee table or something that was there. Arlo, there's a pot with a shriveled and dead tree similar to a tree plant that you saw in the swamp itself, also there. So Watts, we're going to try to rig this thing, huh? I would like a engineering at disadvantage roll.
How about jury rigging?
Or
It's
jury
the same
rig.
bonus, but
Yep. But at disadvantage.
fine.
Yeah, look at that.
Damn. A 34 and a 37 with a target of 59. You're going to be able to get this thing powered up, Watts. What do we do to make that happen?
I'd probably just take a power source out of my binoculars or like the rebreather or something for a moment so that I can hook it up and find the micro USB port and be like, they didn't have USB-C yet? Come on. But yeah, so I'm going to power it up and then see what the screen. Do we have to stand the desk up? Is the screen facing the ground?
It is. So Frankie and the Major, I think, help you heft up and flip this huge reception desk back up again. And
Yeah.
you get under there and you start, fiddling with the wires and do it shockingly fast. And we hear the and aliens-esque green screen starts to flash on. And the first thing that comes on is Archon Research Facility blinks on. And then it goes to a login screen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You start typing and it appears glitchy or whatever. It takes you directly in. You're noticing a lot of data damaged, a lot of source files damaged. This was a networked computer. It does not appear to be networked at this point. So the only thing that you really get visibility to while you're there is this is a place to greet guests and to record where they are. Whatever memory it had is gone, but the software itself, as you go through and look at the code, is you're guessing about 150 or so years old. Vaslav, we're picking up that typing, buddy.
God damn it.
Well, the computer system seems to match the age of the building, so at the time it must have been state of the art. Any security software, like a security system monitoring, not that I expect any camera records, but
yeah, there might have been if it was networked, but it's you're kind of stopped here, unfortunately. Okay. But whatever has happened hasn't destroyed the components of the computer, so there may be something that we can find later as we come across more consoles.
Okay, I'm gonna take the power source and whatever little electronic gadget I use to hook it up in case I can use it again on another computer. That's all we're gonna get from this, though.
Okay, let's proceed with this sweep and try to clear this building and find if there's anyone living here. So I will pick the hallway and just start with Frankie to clearing up the rooms as we go in the hallway.
Standard ops, right? Turn the corners, guns go down the hallway as it curves around. This emergency lighting seems to be tracking throughout the hallway as well. You notice on your left, there is a door. Unlike the blown away door, Frankie, that you saw before, this is a much lighter door. It's an interior door, older. So it seems to have more of an analog feel to it. You can tell that the door is actually slid by hand as opposed to electronic or anything. But what really stands out is the message that's spray painted on the door. Alive inside.
Well, it's something. Not sure if good or bad, but it seems that we might meet some new friends, hopefully.
It's probably not plants.
Ha.
Okay.
I'll still find some dirt on him. Testing him.
Major, what are your thoughts on?
Okay, I suggest we announce ourselves, not to scare them. Like, first thing they see us pointing guns at them, we might get blown apart immediately, or somebody might get injured who we don't want to get injured. And still be careful. So, I guess let's not knock on the door. I will hit the door 3 times with my fist and announce ourselves. This is Major Hezekiel Farrell from the ship. What was it called? Damn it.
Providence.
From the ship Providence and the crew. We received a signal from this location and we followed it. Are you in need of help? Are you still there? We mean no harm.
Silence.
I repeat it once again. Still silence.
If they died, they should have updated the message.
I will try to open the door.
I find your
And,
graffiti inaccurate.
Yeah.
We'll have to update that on the way out.
I will fill in the complaint later. So carefully, of course, and try to peek inside.
So, Major, as you reach the door and you yank it, it's a slide door. It's like, it slides into the wall. But like I said, it's done manually. As you yank it, you realize that you're breaking what might have been a lock at that point, whether the lock is old or it was broken, but you could tell that it was some sort of, it was meant to be a locked door, but you very easily slide it open. And it slides away, and it seems to be a large storage area. You can see columns of storage bins that rise above your head and almost create alleyways or like a library hallways through this room. You can see to the other side where you can see what you would assume to be the exterior curved areas of this. That yellow lighting continues flickering a little bit in this room more than you saw in the hallway and in the reception area. And to your left is a body.
So I will immediately,
Yeah, it is devoid of any type of flesh. It is just a skeletal and seems to be wearing a lab coat.
Yeah, I guess this one is not alive, guys. Let's check him out. I will carefully approach, just briefly look at the body, but mainly look at the alleyways made of the environment of this office area or of this library area to see if there's anyone hiding, any kind of creature. And I will walk over the body and try to look behind it as well, just to be on the safe side.
And Frankie's sweeping, I would assume, the other side as well, right? And you are seeing more of the same, more lab coats shrouding these skeletons in piles up against the far walls.
Are we feeling any different being in this area where the soil and the plants in Arlo's pockets died? Are we feeling any effects?
Just the same as you were on the planet, and it's again because of it's not supernatural or odd in any way, right? It's just if I was on a desert planet, this is what it would feel like. So that's the length of, or the extent of how different you feel. Frankie, as you kind of start heading down some of these makeshift hallways, aisles of storage, you head towards what looks like to be about 5 or 6 of these bodies. I keep calling them bodies. They're skeletal remains that are piled up against the far wall. All of them in some sort of either lab coats or, these white shirts with slacks. Easily could be decades old, right? The bones themselves are dried. There's no sign of any type of flesh or life on there at all. Except you notice something different on one of the piles immediately. It's someone who is dressed differently, and instead of like office attire, they're in fatigues, some sort of military type fatigues. The face is pale, but it has a face. And its entire abdomen has been ripped out of its body, and the guts are spread across the floor. And this could have happened easily within the last 4 or 5 days.
Is there a trail, like a blood-stained trail going in a certain direction of where it came from or went to?
Let's do a fear check first. Yeah.
Ah, shit.
And if you're if you're anywhere near me, it's at a disadvantage.
It's going to be at a disadvantage.
You're welcome.
I was way far away from them. Remember, I went right.
Yeah, but like you're observing this, and then you're taking it in, and suddenly I'm over your shoulder, like, what's that?
All right. So we failed our check. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at how this hand is handled now.
Is it? Oh, it was on disadvantage. Oh,
That looks
Kill
gruesome.
Nick twice.
It was most likely extremely painful for that person.
All right, so let me quickly go to the panic. All right, so you're
Can
going to
you
fail
imagine?
fail a check. So now what's going to happen is you're going to do a panic roll. So unlike before, the way the panic roll is done is we've got to now basically test for panic. So what is your current stress? We got to add the stress. So I'm sorry, roll a d6. So do a /R 1d6 or use the roll. Let's go, how much? All right, so add 5 stress.
Okay.
Where does that put your stress to now?
11.
All right, so you need to roll above 11 on a d20. Or you could roll a 16. So that's success. So you don't panic, but you do gain that stress. What is helping you keep your shit together, Frankie?
The shit I've seen so far, the chance of eating other people, and this is much more mild than that. So it's okay. This isn't the worst thing I've seen this week. That's okay.
So the question that you had asked about the blood and the blood trail, you can tell that it's all dried, right? So this didn't happen, an hour ago. And you can see that trail extends down another aisle, not one that you went down. And as you get close to the body, you can smell the decay. You can smell the death. And you can see this blood trail just kind of move down, and what appears to be footprints that eventually goes and fades away into where you came from. So when you came in, you didn't see that because whatever blood was on these boots had, been used up as the track went. But that's where the tracks left and headed back towards the door that you came in.
We get on the comms and, gentlemen, there's we got a freshie over here.
And you guys are all within earshot of each other.
Okay. Yeah, so I back up and I alert everybody about what I see and where we're looking at a dead body with guts and boot prints. What the hell is going on here?
Is it
So
clear?
Go ahead, Major.
Yeah, so we're in the danger zone, so I want to be anything that we can meet might potentially kill us. As you know, we have experience from the past that everything tries to kill us lately. So we need to be double careful and look around. Is still Dean with us? How is he doing?
He got to the door, and when he saw the skeleton, just stood there. And he hasn't moved and hasn't said anything.
Dean, buddy?
He almost seems frozen.
Perfect.
Are you okay, Dean?
Where is everybody? Everybody's supposed to be here. The message said that people were here, and
How many days ago
Okay.
was that message received?
it was about 2.5 weeks ago.
So, Dean, they still might be here. We will try to sweep the building and try to find anyone. We need to be double careful now. So you saw that was the reason I wanted us to be careful, to not be in danger of whatever just happened here. I know that it might be quite a shocker for you to see this. Unfortunately, we have to deal with it right here, right now. Do you have any weapon with you or anything you can defend yourself with?
We got to do his panic check first, real quick.
Okay.
He hears what you say, Major, and he runs up to you and pushes you and says, "You sons of bitches, you brought the bugs you brought to the colony. You brought them here too, didn't you? Didn't you?"
Dean, just calm the fuck down, Dean. Like, if we would have brought the bugs here, we would have them on the ship when we were landing, of course, and we would have a lot of troubles already back there. I doubt they the bugs ran in front of us and they run through the jungle and just spilled the briefcase there, blown apart this building. And
This is all your fault. I know this is all your fault. And he's just starting to step back and starting to kind of walk backwards out of the room.
Well, okay, Dean, this might be my fault, but just cool down. Oh, just it will be okay.
So as a quick reminder, Frankie, and this was shared with you, this message was from a sergeant who commented that she was a crew member of the Defiance. This cadaver that you see here, you see a patch that shows some sort of military insignia, and it says Defiance on it.
Any chance that my medkit has a sedative in it?
Yeah.
How about it like a syringe?
Sure.
Okay. If I'm in a place, if Dean is backing towards me in any way, I'd like to just pop him with that if possible.
Okay, so and the major might see what the android is about to do, and will try to keep Dean's attention.
Okay.
And
wait,
it will not be there.
Hey, look at Robot. Like, hey, like, you guys stay away from me.
Calm down.
Calm down. Like, you killed everybody on my colony. Then we come down here. You've killed everybody here.
This is going to help you remain calm.
You haven't helped anybody. He's like.
I'm not gonna like tackle him. I'm looking to the Major for direction here.
Okay, Dean. Maybe Mr. Watts. Okay, calm down with the with whatever you were doing. And okay, Dean. If we were about to kill everyone, why would we keep you alive? It doesn't make any sense. We want to get to some safe space as well. We went through hell, through bugs, through that colony of yours with the man-eating group. Now we are hoping to find some place where we could just chill down and be safe. We were hoping that this would be the place, and unfortunately, as you can see, we might be still in some kind of danger. And that's the reason why we must stick together even more. So
he was successfully backing away out of the room, and between Watts approaching him, everything that you're saying, he's kind of got turned, and he backs into the frame of the door. Watts, you get to him. You could administer the sedative. What type of dosage are you going for?
Oh, just
what do you want to happen?
I was hoping he would just take it from an 8 to a 2.
Okay.
I'm not trying to knock him out.
Do you have any medicine skill?
Oh God, no.
All right, let's do a straight intellect check.
I guess this
is going to OD if you fail this.
Hey.
So it's kind of a needleless administrator, right? It just gets to the skin. You hear the psss, and you do that, and he goes, well, thud. He falls to the ground.
I overestimated his constitution.
Yeah, well, now you're gonna have to carry him.
Frankie's just gonna pull him by the scruff and drag him into a corner.
Yeah,
so he'll be safer here than on one of our shoulders. And I'll put my body cam on him so we can at least keep an eye out with our HUD.
I would like to take a closer look at the fresh corpse, if possible.
Would you like to take a closer look on the boy first, if he's okay? I don't know, he just fell down. Did he hit his head or anything?
Well, I don't have any medical
I'm not worried about it, yeah.
Well, you have the most
Arlo.
Arlo's just been watching this whole time, just at a distance. First the body, then Dean freaking out. He's just, no, I'm good. You guys do what you're doing. He's also backpedaling, but not in the same way as Dean. He's just keeping his distance away from this.
So, Mr. Watts, it seems that you're our medical officer now. So, congratulations for the promotion. Please go ahead and check if Dean is okay.
He's okay.
Frankie,
that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Frankie, you're over the body of our Defiance crew member, and as you hear Dean's body hit the ground, and you kind of drag him and lean him up against the wall. You hear a coming from the body.
Start going through his pockets.
So you go through, and he's got kind of a hip pack on, and that's where the noise is coming from a large pocket about yo big. You hear the
Figure out a way of unclipping that pouch pocket thing and kind of say, "Hey, Major, check this out." I start rifling through the bag, looking for what's vibrating or making that noise.
His uniform was obviously designed by a 40K fan. It's got all kinds of pouches everywhere, and you pop open this pouch, and inside it is a handheld printer, and there just seems to be paper just and it's just spooling out.
Is it like just empty paper, or is it spooling out any text?
Oh, there's information written on it. It's printing.
I would like to read that text.
You pull it out, and it's a CVS receipt length, just huge, and it says extra meat 5 credits, extra meat 5 credits, extra meat 5 credits, over and over again.
I guess this guy wanted some extra meat. Why? Is there any like fresh carcass as well in this area, or just this poor guy?
Just this guy.
They have any credits or anything in the colony?
So credits is kind of the generic.
Yeah, but did they even use money there?
At the colony up on the dead planet,
On the
or
moon.
on the moon,
Yeah.
there was no indication of any type of currency up on the moon.
And this is Dean, or no, this is the Marine.
This is the Marine.
Okay, all right.
Okay, this is strange. What else? Do we have anything else of interesting in his belongings?
Does he have a body cam?
He does not have a body cam, but you start going through his pockets. You're finding some standard stuff, no type of weapons, nothing of really any use.
Any magazines?
No magazines.
How about clips?
But you mean that type of magazine? I was like, you're looking for porn?
No. Ammo magazines.
No
What
ammo
kind
or
of
magazines, no weapons or anything of that
Good
sort.
housekeeping.
There is, in one of his pockets, though, there is a credit stick, and whoever finds it will have the Major find it. To give you a nice sense from a world building standpoint, essentially these were USB sticks that you would plug in to pay for things.
Okay, how much was it, or anything relevant, or?
The only way for you to know would be to plug it in somewhere.
Okay. I guess I
These
don't
things
care
should have
about it that
LCD
much.
displays.
Yeah.
What was that, DZ?
These things should have LCD displays.
Well,
Or
you'd be able to go back to the reception desk and plug it in if you're interested.
Let's do that later.
But it's currency
On that
for
note-
sure. It's not like any other information probably on
Correct.
it. Like,
Yeah, what you would anticipate is you would plug it in, it would show ownership, and then it would show a balance.
On that note, is there any console in this room?
No, this is definitely like a storage closet, a storage area. And looking on the shelves, looking at any of the drawers on these things, it has been pretty much cleaned out.
How recently?
Tough to say.
Is it a
Dust.
dead end, or is there a continuation here?
This is a dead end. This is a closed room
Dust all over every surface, though?
with a mystery. What was that? I'm sorry, DZ.
Just dust on all the surfaces and the empty drawers.
No. No dust.
okay, I think the most priority is to assess what enemy or what thing we are facing out here. I suggest we, with Mr. Belfoy, we will try to track this thing and understand where it went. And we will try to keep our escape route on mind.
Mr.
Yeah,
Waits.
we should probably make sure that might be a given, but checking for key cards and keys and access, personal belongings
Diamond
on all these
keys.
lab coats and stuff. Yeah, anything that we
Heart
find.
keys.
So, Frankie, you do find a key card on the soldier. No indication what it's for, though.
Okay.
Mr. Waits, is your biology knowledge going to be of any help identifying what happened to this person?
So at this point, Arlo's already been backpedaling towards the door. The smell is disgusting. He said, "Yeah, probably. I don't know. Look, I mean, it tells the story already, right? Something happened to his gut. Look, we got a lot more to explore.
Are you interested in this happening to you?
No,
Then we
that's
should
why
probably
I'd
know
rather
what happened,
leave.
what it is.
All right. Then he's hesitating, going through his stuff, walking towards the body. He's like, all right. What do I have here? What
Here's
can
a
I?
rebreather.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Whew. All right. And he kneels down, still kind of tilting away. Doesn't really want to look at this corpse, and he's investigating, see if he could find any more details about what happened to this guy.
Do you have anything that applies beyond your intellect?
Biology.
All right, let's do a biology check based off of intellect.
Wow.
It looks like a bear attack. So it looks like claws, some sort of just savage attack to the abdomen, torso area, and just was ripped out. As best as you can tell, some sort of wild animal did this. So this isn't a gunshot wound. This isn't an explosion. This is a savage just ripping out by something or someone killed this guy.
So nothing came out of him.
It doesn't. No, there's no indication that it was from the inside.
You think this place has wolves? Because it looks like wolves.
Oh. Well,
Anything is
from
possible.
our experience, it could be anything, really. So, yeah, why not wolves? I haven't seen any wolves lately.
Or that big bug creature.
Yeah, just let's not talk about the big bug creatures. Just let's make that as a new rule.
Can I leave now? Can I get out of here? This place smells horrible.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Let's continue. And can we try to track the boots that the blood was fading to the door, but maybe we will pick up some other indications where that thing might have gone.
By the time you get out to the back to the hallway itself, you realize why you missed it right on the way in, because it's pretty much gone. So whatever blood was on these boots was left back in the aisle, coming away from the body itself. The hallway continues to... Oh, go ahead.
Should we pin a note on Dean saying we'll be back?
I mean, you should carry him. You don't do him, so... Do we put it up forward, or...?
There was that couch way back there.
Hey,
you know?
then he's right by the exit in case we need to leave.
Yeah, I would not just leave him alone in here. It doesn't make really sense.
Well, I can try carrying him.
Good. So I'm glad we agreed on that one. So let's just get out.
Because I need to know, how does Watts carry another person?
I think I'm just gonna grab his leg and just drag him.
I knew it.
So everybody's exiting. Frankie and the major, guns up, serious, down the hallway. Arlo is like, and then we hear Watts we can hear him just dragging Dean, and you hear a thud. And Watts looks back and realizes that he clocked his head on the door frame, and he kind of adjusts and pulls him back out into the hallway. As it curves around, you see another similar door at the end of the hallway.
Is there any like signage or any kind of description on what these rooms labels? Anything?
No. The environmental effects are diminishing as you go and you get deeper here, and the air is starting to get stale again. An air that you're far more familiar with, that kind of an interior, not fresh air.
Roughly how far deep we ventured into the facility from the entrance?
So as best as you can tell, there might be, it's hard to say because you didn't see above, right? You didn't get really a sense of the depth, but assuming it's round, you're maybe a third of the way into the center of this, if it's truly a circular building. And it was definitely one story.
All right.
Okay,
Let's go up to that door and
yeah, and carefully open it. I
it.
will not bother with the announcing myself this time.
So Frankie, by the time you get to the door, what I told you is a lie, because you see a small little sign on the door that says break room.
Noted.
Okay, let's open it.
This one's not locked. Slides again into the walls itself. Who opens the door?
Not Arlo.
Major for sure can go and open it.
So Major, you slide the door open, gun immediately as the door slides open. It fits the description. There's tables, not in any sort of disarray. You could see like a kitchenette off to the left. Next to the kitchenette is this large corkboard where you can see there was things on the corkboard, but now there's just tacks with like remnants of paper under each one of the tacks. There's dried blood across the kitchenette, across the corkboard, and on the far wall, there's a door, but spray painted across that entire wall. Same paint as you saw before that said alive inside. This time it says run like hell. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back. So, Major, you've got your gun aimed into the room. It's a pretty large room. Definitely looks to be a break room type area. Maybe like a foosball table off to the left.
Just wanted
But-
to ask about football.
Yeah, the major features are definitely the blood splattered across that wall, and then that spray painted run like hell on the right hand side. To the very, very far end, which if you're kind of keeping track of where you are and get a sense of what the building really might lead to the center area of the building, there is another door beyond the run like hell spray paint.
So there's a run like hell door and another one without anything.
It's not a door. It's spray painted across the wall.
Okay.
And it was spray painted before the blood, right? So if you can tell that the blood was splattered onto the graffiti.
Okay, heads up, guys. Before you enter, you might. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't look nice here. So I will try to calmly walk in, still sweeping the area, and try to find something interesting that could give us more hints. Is there anyone here? Do we get any pamphlet of information, or maybe some, I don't know, some agenda or someone like the breaks for different teams or something like that?
So of all the rooms that you've seen so far, this seems the least disturbed outside of the blood and the graffiti, right? So there's been no destruction here. There doesn't seem to be any remnants or evidence of violence at all. As you guys are looking around, so I've got the major looking around. I'm sure Frankie is sweeping as well and kind of looking around. What are Watson and Arlo doing
there
other
a
than
body?
dragging Dean?
Is there a body that this blood came from?
That was the body of the soldier that Frankie found.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the blood here?
Yeah. Is Dean holding that thing he was tracking the signal from? Can I find that?
It's in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that and see if it reliably works inside the building.
You pull it out, Watson. You look at it, and the signal is stronger than the last time you looked at it, which is more back when you landed from the ship. So you're heading towards the signal. That's about all you can tell. But yeah, you're getting closer to this repeated distress signal.
Arlo's just doing standard Arlo stuff. He's opening up drawers, mildly curious, but not checking things out too much. Just seeing what's around.
So Arlo, so you're kind of going through the drawers. Just plastic utensils, plastic plates, cups throughout the kitchenette. You come to one drawer, and you can see, before you open the drawer contents all scattered on the ground. So you can see where there's some utensils, some salt packets, some pepper packets, and the drawer is slightly opened, but not fully open.
Yeah, I don't really think much of it. That's people were pretty lazy around here, and I open it.
So you open it, and the handle itself, it seems like it's kind of jammed. So something's preventing you from opening it. It's not like it's locked or anything. It's like you have like a spoon that's been jammed up in there on your kitchen thing, and you can tell it's something's jamming it.
Yep, I just try to yank it without even thinking. Like, no, there's no doubt or anything. Just come on, get open.
You go pull. You reach your hand in, and something pricks your finger, and you immediately pull back, and you see blood coming down your finger.
Hey guys. Hey. It's dripping down. Anyone? I need a bandage.
Major stops sweeping, looks at Arlo, just like, what's this guy? And then notices that the hand, I guess there's a bit of blood that's easily visible. What happened, Arlo? Why are you injured? Is everything okay? Or
I must have pricked my hand on a fork or something. I tried opening that drawer, and I don't know, something's lodged in there.
I'm going to start getting out a bandage and stuff as chief medical officer of this expedition.
Just don't overdose him, please.
On bandages? Well, confirmed.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, when I open the case, is there like an adrenaline or like a stim or anything in there that might be able to wake Dean up?
Yeah, it's not really. No, there's we can put smelling salts or the
Yeah, that
equivalent
kind of
in
thing.
there. Yeah. Are we using
Okay,
it?
I'm gonna bandage Arlo first, but then yes.
Okay.
Or maybe after we deal with whatever's happening here.
So anyhow, Arlo, what did you exactly do? How did you get injured? Like, was there really a fork, or
Probably. I mean, look at all the stuff strewn around. You know, there's forks and knives everywhere here, and it's plastic. So I don't know. Maybe I got a little aggressive, but you wanna try opening up that drawer? I apparently
Frankie hears this and walks over to that drawer and kind of looks in and kind of does his try to figure out what's going on.
I mean, what's in the drawer? Why did you try to open it anyhow?
I don't know. We're here. We gotta
Okay.
open stuff, right?
I guess
looking
that
for
makes
clues.
sense.
So my favorite comment, I think on episode 2, if you go to the comments, is someone goes, "Is Kyle trying to kill Arlo? Because it looks like Kyle's trying to kill Arlo." Which is the role playing has been great. Frankie, you kind of look in there and you can see that there's some sort of utensil that is literally like kitchen drawer jammed in there, but you can't really see anything that would prick your finger or anything along those lines.
I checked the cabinet below that drawer.
There isn't one. There's just the drawer.
I walk away from it. I have no interest.
Just yank it.
I go back to it and I'm like, it's stuck, guys. Just give me a hand. I go back to yanking it open.
Give me a strength test.
Okay.
I'm gonna wake this creature thing that's in this place.
It's just a fork, guys.
Anyone seen Splinter?
All right. So Arlo, it's like he knows there's a potato masher in there that's just preventing the drawer from opening, and he keeps yanking at it and yanking at it.
Arlo, just chill the fuck down. Like, I will approach it. I will take the machete and try to pry it open with the machete. Just if you want to see it, I'll show you how to get in the stupid drawer.
So Arlo's strength is 33. What is Major's strength?
36. But I have the machete as a lever.
Gotcha. So you kind of put the machete in there and you pop it, and you hear just this thick plastic like break, and the drawer slides open. It's a deep drawer. The contents obviously are on the floor except for this broken kitchen utensil and a large syringe.
Not a fork.
Yeah. Not a fork.
Put a cap on that.
When you say large, is it like as big as my hand, or
unlike granted, this is, who knows how old this building is, but for the last 300 at least some odd years, syringes were long abandoned. So this was not used to administer medicine to humans, as best as you remember.
Is there anything in it? Do I need to be worried?
Was it used for recreational drugs? Or like, are they still used for that?
No, most recreational. It's mostly pills.
Okay, so
Samples,
after all this mess that we did here, we did it for this stupid old syringe. Really? Just Major will shake his head and continue sweeping the rest of this area, and just do his stuff that he's meant to do here. Just walks away.
As Arlo is focused on the syringe is used, Arlo, in the fact that it doesn't contain any liquid anymore. You do see something it did. You can see it kind of crusted on the inside of it. Right now, you don't feel any effects.
Great, so it's fine. We're fine.
Everything, just like everything else, it's absolutely
You don't
fine.
detect any traps.
So Major and Frankie's, you continue your sweep as Watts is finished putting a Band-Aid on Arlo.
And waking up Dean, attempting
Oh, okay. So,
with
what the hell? And he's immediately he's like he's like backwards crab walks to try to get
You're
as far from
unharmed.
Watts as he possibly can.
You were having a mild panic attack.
What did you give me?
A sedative.
He's kind of looking around.
Horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, apparently the good stuff.
And he points to the blade. Goes, what? Whose blood is that?
Not yours, Dean.
Guys, are we gonna find anybody?
We found lots of bodies.
He kind of turns away from Watts. Like you can tell he was gonna say something to you and then just realized no, and he kind of just turns to Arlo. He goes, "What's going on? What is this place?"
I mean, you were gone for maybe 10 minutes. You know almost as much as we do. We know scientists, army dudes, kitchenette is destroyed. We are supposed to run like hell. You see that up there too? That's where we're at.
That message may not be meant for us.
His demeanor has changed. So the enthusiasm and the excitement that you saw before, all leading up to this, has now completely left his body. And he's kind of just gravitating and staying as close as he can to Frankie while still giving Frankie his personal space.
And don't open any drawers.
So as we're sweeping the room, I mentioned the door on the far side. Frankie gets to it first. And Frankie, it is an elevator door. And it seems to have just a button. One button for down.
Does it have power?
Natural curiosity, I'm going to press it to see what happens.
Click. Click, click.
Any lights, anything? Nothing. If anybody's looking at me, you just see my shoulders kind of shrug and then keep walking.
I can look around for a console, but perhaps the Marines can try to get the doors open manually.
Yeah, let's approach the door and try to see if there is a manual override.
So there doesn't seem to be any type of electric panels or anything. I mean, there's the panel there. We can pull away the panel. We can try to physically separate the doors. It's very similar to like an office elevator door.
Let's start with the panel first.
So you yank the panel out and it's immediately apparent that there is no power coming to this panel at all.
Yeah, this thing is out of juice. I think we would need to turn on some kind of main generator because it seems that we are running on an emergency one. So no way we are going to use this elevator now. We should proceed with our search and continue to find other signs of life. Well,
Agreed.
Death, probably.
There is a hatch, Frankie, on the roof of the elevator. Standard. All elevators would. As you guys sweep the room, looking around, it nothing much more remarkable. As you can see, Dean is keeping to himself. This place was lived in. Difficult to say for how long, or how long ago it was last used. But between the hallway, the storage closet that you found, the big storage area, there may be a few more doors here or there, but nothing remarkable in it. So for this level, this is, you guys have seen what there is to see.
Okay, so there's still, we can go back to the hallway or go through that door, right? Or was the door to the elevator?
That's the elevator.
Okay. Okay, I think we've seen what we could. Let's continue searching on this floor. Maybe there will be still somebody we could preferably talk to.
So
And
at this point, Arlo's in the elevator itself. Can someone give me a lift up here? I mean, it couldn't hurt to take a look, right?
yeah, sure, let's do
I
it.
can't reach it.
I mean, are you? Yeah, okay. Since we're here, we might as well take a look. Okay, Major will try to boost Arlo for what that's worth.
So you boost up Arlo. It's kind of awkward, and Arlo's not really good at keeping his balance, and he just kind of presses on the panel, and the panel pops immediately up, and you kind of lift Arlo up. And Arlo, as you get lifted up into the elevator, the yellow emergency lighting is continuing. There's probably maybe 5 feet between you and what appears to be the ceiling at the top of this elevator shaft, but there is a decent amount of space between the body of this elevator and the elevator shaft itself, right? So it's not pressed against the outer shaft. You can see some sort of track system that runs on the left and the right of the elevator that moves it up and down. It doesn't have a cable or anything like that, but there is a ladder, maintenance ladder that leads down.
So I peek my head down. There's a ladder up here, guys. We could probably make our way down, right? I mean, where else are we gonna go? There's
Well, we might
There's
go
some light.
still search through this floor to see if there is any danger, because we want to keep our escape way clear, and especially if we go down the ladder, it's not a, let's say, fast escape route in case anything goes wrong. So we keep that in mind, and we can then go back to this area and search the second floor or later.
always thinking ahead. And at this point, I'm climbing out back down into the elevator.
So we montage as you guys continue to explore this area. And everything from a time sense wise fits. This is some sort of research maintenance type building. There doesn't appear to be anything above, floors above, nothing remarkable as you go through and look at. There's no additional skeletal remains and no additional fresh cadavers from the Defiance.
Any sign of what they were studying?
At this point, no. In fact, one thing that you spend some time with, Watts, is this corkboard. And you can tell that several things were thumbtacked and pinned to it and were ripped off of it. But there's no sense of where whatever was on this corkboard, where it is.
Any schematics, maps of the location, any kind of standard operating procedure binders or anything crazy? No?
No.
I guess we'll circle back. I guess we go in a circle, so we could circle back to this area that we said that we would explore later. So do we have? So we can access the ladder from the top of the elevator, right? There's no. We don't need any climbing equipment or anything.
So
Also, there's a chair here that we could stand on to get up.
Yeah, you could definitely get up this hatch without any difficulty. Get a piece of furniture under it to DZ's point, and get up on top of the roof of this elevator. There's enough clearance. You can't really stand up, but you can kind of hunch down on there, and then it's very easy to reach across, and you could definitely access the ladder down.
Okay, so as usual, I will go first. I will clear the rooms. We will continue exploring.
Do you want to drop like an emergency flare or something down the shaft to get a visual?
Or maybe there's this emergency orange yellow light. So.
Yeah, but you look down and maybe only you can see about 20 feet down, right? And before the light is just too dim and it's just darkness.
So just pitch black, basically.
Yeah. So it's enough light to see what's right around you, but you can't. It doesn't help your visibility at a distance.
Okay, of course I have infrared goggles. Does it help anything?
It does. So you pop those on, Farrell, and you look down this thing, and as best as you can tell, maybe 80 feet down.
Whew. Okay, it's gonna be a climb.
How many floors? Like how many exits from to the elevator shaft?
You don't see any.
Yeah, maybe it's just a front-facing place for this research station or whatever that is, and the main operation will be downstairs. Okay, Major, I will proceed to the ladder and start climbing down.
Okay, so the major's first,
Frankie will follow right behind.
third.
Come on,
Dean.
Dean.
So the fact that Frankie, he wants to go right after Frankie, right? So Frankie starts heading down and Dean heads down right after him.
Like a puppy.
Who's next?
Herding Dean.
Arlo Watts.
I'll go.
Yeah, and
All
Arlo will be last. Yeah.
Arlo pulls up the rear. I don't know if you've ever climbed a ladder, 8 stories, but by the time you get to like the 5th or 6th story down, like the arms are starting to hurt a little bit. Your hands are a little bit sweatier than you'd like them to be against the cold metal of this, unless you're a robot, as you shake your head, DC. And the lighting is enough, again, for you to see the ladder. There's not a visibility issue as far as where you are, but the only person who can see down is the Major. And Major, as you finally do see the floor, the bottom of this shaft, you can also see that there is a door that lines up with the door above. So this is obviously a 2-point elevator, where you were up above and then 80 feet down. And you can, from where you are, you're about maybe 2 stories up, story and a half up. You can see that that door is closed. You're on mute.
Muted.
So we're at the bottom of the shaft, and 2 stories above us is the entrance to that other floor. Is that right?
So no. So you've been headed down. You've gone down about
Okay.
6 stories, right? About 60 feet with no doors, just the ladder. And then you can see down below you, about 15, 20 feet below you, you can see the bottom of this shaft. And there's a door there. So this elevator obviously takes you from the surface down about 80 feet or 8 stories.
Okay. Since there doesn't seem to be anything suspicious, I will continue climbing the ladder down.
As you guys are climbing down, the air gets older. It gets a little colder. Not drastically, but you can enough that you can tell. You can tell there's a temperature difference as you head down. Major, there's a good 4 feet between the end of the elevator and the floor. You hop down first, land at the bottom of the shaft. You can see, you look up, you see the other 4 coming down. Frankie being next, then Dean, then Watson, then Arlo. You see the interior of this door. You can tell by the way the tracks work that this would line up and then it would open simultaneous with the doors of the elevator.
Okay. I will wait for the rest to come down. I will approach the door and wait for Frankie to be on the other side of the door. And okay, Frankie, let's help me to get this open. And I will try to first pry it open physically if it can be pushed, or if there is any kind of panel, then I will look for it later.
So you go and you begin to press it, and it resists, but you're able to slide it open. I need a speed test.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
first
I
from
got
you.
it. Was there tactics or military training that helps anything?
I like military training, yeah.
Oh, great.
So speed, military training, and whoop. Yeah.
Can I get a speed test from everybody else real quick?
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Breathe deep.
4
yeah.
rolls,
That was a tiring climb down the ladder.
4 failures, including Dean. So here's what happens. Frankie, you've got your gun ready. You've got Dean, Arlo, and Watts behind you. In front of you is the Major. Major, you begin to slide this thing, and then it gives. So it's and the body falls onto you. And it just falls onto you and it kind of bowls you over and the bullets start flying. So I need a combat check from all 4 of you.
Oh, man. Is anything like, again, military training or...
Yes, military
tactics?
training could apply.
How about linguistics?
Linguistics will not apply.
Okay. Have to ask. Ugh.
All right, so no critical
What are
failures.
these rolls? What
The
are
major-
these rolls?
Between the body and you kind of falling back, you avoid the hail of bullets. Let's start with Frankie. Frankie, you take 12 points of damage.
Oh, I succeeded on this combat.
Oh, you did succeed?
Did you?
Yeah. And you take no. Yeah, target
Oh.
78. Look how good your combat is. Yeah, so you
Oh.
avoid the bullets. We'll do Watts next. You failed, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, we have the bonus for the other Marines. I forgot about that.
Okay, 5 points of damage to you, Watts. Nine points to Arlo.
And does with the new version, does this go into armor points first, or?
Yeah, so we'll walk through it. So just note what the damage is here, and then let's talk through it,
Okay.
because a lot this has really changed in the new edition. I want to take everybody through it real quick. All right, and then 14 to Dean. So a few things. One, anybody who has armor has an AP, right? And that value is subtracted from the damage. If it uses all of it, then whatever armor it is destroyed. So you will no longer have an AP. So that's the first thing. What it remains is your damage. And now there is a concept of wounds, and I don't know what they call it. Health per wound. So you have health and wounds. Everybody has 2 wounds. Each wound has its own health track. When you use up a health track, you take a wound. When you use up your next health track, you take a wound and you die. So let's start with you, Watts. How much damage did you take?
5, and I have 10 armor from battle suit.
Oh, you got the battle armor. Okay, so take 5 off of that. So the AP of that is now 5. So
Okay.
you take no health repercussions.
I can't edit the armor points on the front of the character sheet. Should I edit it in the item itself?
Yeah, just hit the little pencil icon to the far
Okay.
right. You should be able to change it there. Frankie, you succeeded. Major, you are not hit by bullets. Arlo, how much damage did you take? How many damage did I deal?
I took 9, but I
9.
also am wearing the standard battle dress. So
All
I'm
right, so
down
that's going to take you
there.
the AP down to 1. Dean does not have any type of armor on. So here's what happens. The major's trying to pull this open. Finally goes. This body comes and just kind of bowls the major over, right? So it was obviously leaning up against this door. As that happens, you hear the as bullets start flying. Each of you get hit. Nothing critical, nothing the injuries to like arms get knocked away. Maybe some of this is just falling backwards. Dean does not react well. And you see Dean take 2 shots to the shoulder, and you see the bullets penetrate through them. Boom, boom, as they hit, and he falls backwards against the fallback of the wall. Frankie, you immediately reacting, move back, right, to get out of this hail of bullets. But as you're doing that, you're seeing some sort of sentry on a tripod. That's where this is coming from. And as everybody kind of pulls away and instinctively gets outside of the doorway, right, gets on either the left or the right hand side, it continues to pelt and hit the back of this elevator. Just boom, 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 as Dean slides down and is bleeding. He's got his hand on his shoulder. And he's losing consciousness. You're on
You're
mute.
muted.
Is everybody okay? Like, anybody got a hit? It seems that we're facing some kind of automated defense system.
I'll check for any.
It's ringing
wireless
in your
signals.
ears. It's so
Right.
loud.
I'm scanning for any Wi-Fi networks that it might be attached to, or Bluetooth.
It is not. It seems analog.
Then I'm gonna.
Okay.
Is there a gap from the floor of the door to this elevator basin that we're in?
Yeah, it's like
is
4
there a
feet,
spot
right?
to kind of go?
Not huge, right? So maybe a foot below the door, so not a huge amount, but there's a good bit of space. Like there's enough for you guys to get outside of this firing.
We're basically hugging the side walls
Correct.
of the door.
Yeah, Arlo's in the corner, huddled, holding his ears. Um,
I'm
this
gonna
is the
try
first
to-
time he probably has been in a situation like this.
Yeah, those marauders shot you on the.
Oh, that's true.
On the
That's
ship.
true.
Okay. So everybody, let's see. We failed. What did we fail? We failed a combat check,
And speed.
and we also a speed check. So everybody should added 2 additional stress.
So 1 stress for each. So
1
if I
stress for
succeeded,
each.
yeah, okay.
Yep. And then I need some fear saves.
At disadvantage.
Who wants to go first?
Major will go first. So fear at disadvantage. So I click on it and I go disadvantage. Yeah.
Okay, target 38. So you fail. Who else?
I'll go next.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, that is good.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Oh,
Hey.
This is gonna be fun.
All right. So
Wow.
everybody but Frankie failed. Is that correct?
I need to roll still.
Oh, sorry. Oh, look at you, Mr. Watts. All right. So let me bring up these new fear panic rolls. All right. So now on a D20, starting, who's the first failure? Arlo? Let's do Arlo first.
99.
99.
So
All
it's
right,
a critical failure.
correct. So you're going to add 1 stress for that fail. What is your total stress right now?
I'm at 5.
All right. You need to roll over a 5
And I'm rolling
on
a
a
D20,
D20.
right?
Yep. As the shots are just ringing out. No panic for you. Who else failed?
Major failed.
Major, what is your panic? What's your stress?
3 is the
All
current
right,
stress.
let's roll over a 3 on a D20.
And D20 is this one. Whew.
Okay, anybody else? Frankie, did you
I
pass,
passed.
Frankie? I can't remember. You passed,
Yeah.
and then Watts passed, right?
That might have been Nick's best roll ever.
I know that was pretty
Ever.
good. That was
That
pretty
occurred
good.
to me.
So I'm curious. All right, so you okay. To make the panic check, roll the d20 and attempt to roll greater than your stress. If you roll less than your stress, you fail, and then look up your result. All right, so whatever you roll is what you get on the panic table. So that's interesting. So that makes sense. So it gets worse as you go. So that's interesting the way they combine it. So you don't re-roll again on the panic table. So the higher your stress is, you're pushing yourself.
So if you roll low and you're low on stress, you won't get that much punished.
Exactly.
Potentially. Okay.
Exactly. It's very
That makes
interesting the
sense.
way that's very elegant. Actually, I like that. Now it's one of those things. It's one of those things when you read rules, you read it and you're like, okay, that makes sense. But then you, in the midst of playing, you start to piece together what they went. So hats off, Sean and team. That's a pretty clever little system. Dean is on the ground. He is bleeding. All of you are against the wall. The shots are continuing.
So
And
in major,
it's just pelting the back of this elevator shaft.
so in major is immediately calculating, can't reach his friends easily with any kind of commands or instructions because of so much noise. But it's not the first time he's been under fire, maybe even under fire of automated defenses. So first thing, could I estimate
The first thing is that you're on the ground with a body on top of you. That's the first thing.
Okay, so I will try to get up, push the body to the side, and just crawl myself to the side so I'm not directly in the threat range of this turret. And
You push the body off. It's in the same uniform as the cadaver that was above that Frankie found. You immediately see that whatever was shooting you shot him as well. So you can just see huge slug wounds in his back as you push him off. You have no trouble getting pushed away and out of line of fire.
I'm trying to address the wound on Dean before he loses too much blood.
So right now, to get to Dean, you're gonna have to
He's
either
in
do
the line of fire. on the
yeah,
ground,
he's in
right?
the line of fire.
Oh, yeah. So can I drag him off to the side?
Yep, you grab his ankle and you pull him. He kind of falls back. He's not resisting at all, and you're able to slide him out of the line of fire. He stops taking hits, but he's been hit 2 or 3 times in the upper torso.
Yeah, I'm looking for like that gel that you can just squirt in. Just
Okay, I don't know if we have that, but let's go ahead and let's try to address the wounds. So let me find that wound table that we have now. So let's do 2 things. I need a medicine check from somebody, if not an intellect check.
I don't suppose Arlo is present for this to help.
He's kind of buckling down like a tornado warning.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
look at
you were fine.
Ooh, wow. All right. So he does take a wound. Who wants to roll me a D10 real quick? 1D10. Let's find out what his wound is.
Me.
All right. The 2 from gunshot. So as you start addressing his wounds, you realize that the bullets themselves did not penetrate his skin, right? So it looks like he got knocked back, maybe from Farrell. So you look at it and you can see some of the blood as it's grazed and skirted his arm, but he doesn't have gunshot wounds going through his body.
So it grazed him?
Essentially.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But he's now passed out.
Well, that's fine.
The shots are just keep ringing, and shells are hitting the ground. So you're starting to see just the floor of this shaft is getting littered by these spent bullets.
Oh, did we lose Nick?
We did lose
It's
Nick.
like
Yeah, in Foundry too.
Okay, anyhow, so Major
Dean
was
is stable.
Yeah.
Sorry, just Dean is stable. I yell out.
Major is not
What?
basically. yeah. Major failed the panic roll.
Dean's at the
He's-
table.
Wait, did Major fail the panic roll?
Yeah, Major failed the panic roll.
Oh, there's a.
No, sorry, the fear roll. Yeah, the
the
first
fear
one.
roll. Okay.
Yeah,
not
but you
that.
made the panic.
Okay.
But is he still in his like flight or fight response? And in this case, it's fight. And he will try to estimate like he has one last grenade. He's thinking like, would it be safe to lob the grenade there from safety and try to incapacitate that defensive
No
line?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, from where you are, you can't see any type of triggering mechanism. Your logic is sound, Frankie, that, that the opening of the door, you would have heard, like, this thing is so loud. This door is not thick enough. Like, if this thing was firing, you would have heard it before you opened the door. And as you're looking and as you're going through that, I think as part of like the forensic look, Frankie, you look down and you can see a rope tied to the waist of the body that extends into the room and appears to be attached to the gun.
I'm gonna try to slide my foot over to try to get that, so I don't get shot. Try to get that rope over. If I can latch onto that, cut it, and throw it back in to see if it's on a pressure switch of some kind. To see if I can.
So it's taut, right? And you take the knife and you cut it, and the rope snaps back like a rubber band, and the gunshots stop.
Major is like
I look at
ready with
everybody
the
and go, it worked.
Major's ready with the grenade, looking at Frankie like, doing the smart thing and looking around and
You're like putting
like
the pin
trying
in.
to
Put the
figure it
pin
out.
back in. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Smart move, Mr. Belfort. I like it. We need more like you here.
My hotel Wi-Fi almost screwed that plan up.
Yeah. Could have texted
That
us.
disconnect. I was like,
I will like make a bet on the back of the grenade, the last one I have, and put it at my favorite spot on the battle vest I have, and we'll try to look around and see what's the status on the rest of the people that got hit. So,
Go ahead.
you were shouting something about Dean, Mr. Watts?
He's stable. There don't appear to be any bullets inside him, and there is no major artery damage.
Mr. Waits, are you okay? I guess you're huddling in the corner or something.
I mean, as okay as I can be.
Are you injured at least?
Oh
Like,
no, I'm
or,
fine.
like-
No, I'm fine.
yeah, okay. Then that's a good thing.
Point of order, I just saw that Marines and androids start with 3 wounds.
Oh, nice. All right, let's change that up. Who's overpowered now? DZ.
We need something. Teamsters get all the good skills.
Okay, we should try to find some better room than this elevator shaft and regroup there. Try to see if we can find some, I don't want to say safe spot, but something better than this place.
We're going further. We just got shot at.
Yeah, we have 2 choices. We could go back where there is nothing, only death, or we could continue investigating if there are any life forms that we can contact and that could help us survive on this planet.
What's the
People
signal
that are
tracker
here-
saying?
What's that?
What's the signal tracker saying?
So it's getting
So-
stronger. As you went down, it got stronger. So you're headed in what appears to be the right direction.
should we
Yeah.
announce
So
ourselves?
if there is anyone who knows what's happening, there will be inside. They are the people who send that signal.
We should announce that we're not hostile in case there are people still alive behind this gun because they know someone's here because this thing
Is this
rattled.
body one of those Defiant crew members?
Yeah.
Any body cam?
Nope.
Any credits?
No credit stick.
And I assume the turret is also recent, like similarly recent.
I don't know. Are we going in the room right now? I've got everybody in the elevator shaft.
There's nowhere else to go.
I think we should announce ourselves before we get
I mean-
fired on
Yeah.
by people.
Yeah.
We don't need to find out about the signal.
I mean, we were just in a basically shootout. I would not suggest announcing ourselves just to get our.
They know we're here already because it just shot at us.
Yeah, it might have been some defense left out here. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's announce ourselves. We mean no harm. This is the crew of the ship Providence, and we are following the signal that we caught up, and it's leading us here. We are armed, but we don't want any fight, and we want to help.
No noise back. Silence.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I will peek around the corner just to, confirm that the turret didn't stop shooting only because of the row, but maybe it's not seeing anyone and tracking people and hitting them.
So, Major, you can see that this thing was rigged, right? You can see where the rope goes. You can see how it was looped around to trigger and pull back the lever. So normally if somebody would be at this turret, they would pull back a lever to activate and start firing. And you can see that the way this was done is that if this door was opened, the body would fall forward and it would do exactly what it is. So whoever or whatever did this, it worked. But it was
Okay.
obviously designed and deliberate and MacGyvered.
So let's proceed. I will sign Frankie so we continue safely looking around the corner if there is anyone and trying to see if it's safe to
Yep.
proceed.
Let's make our way in.
So this seems to be some sort of kind of atrium. It's a hexagonal shaped room. There is off to the left, you can see a bank of computers. Might be a security area, security observation piece or something. Off to the left, there's a door on the far right that leads to another room. The only thing that's distinct and makes it really very different is, and the way above that it was the decor and everything was, like an office area, whereas now the walls are all concrete. There is no attempt to make this area pretty at all. It seems very functional, and instead of everything curved, everything is hexagonal. The room you're in is a hexagon.
We're going straight for the computers.
Watch, you head straight to the computers.
And trying to either power things up or attach my power source.
Let's do an engineering roll.
Yes, let's.
Very nice. What do we get from this? So, like the computer above, if this was networked, it's not connected anymore.
Got to restart that router.
Turn it on and off and back on again.
Mm-hmm.
You bring it up, and here's what you glean, and I'm not going to drag it out. I'll just give you the headlines. One, this is multi-floor. You are on level 2 versus level 1. It appears to be at least 2 more levels below you. This appears to be a military research, this Archon. No indication what it is researching. All like security in the building appears to be non-functional. So this was kind of the nexus of the security area. So things that would cause doors to be locked, alarms to go off, all of those types of things. Everything seems disconnected, at least from this area. But this again is kind of the nexus of it. There's cameras, but none of them are connected. None of them are functional, and there doesn't seem to be access to the recordings. So the recordings are not local to these computers themselves.
Is there a schematic?
There's not a schematic beyond just level. You just see the levels, right? So you can't get a map, but you just see you're on level 2 and appears to be 3 more levels below.
Well, we shouldn't run into any inbuilt security systems, although I wouldn't know of any other impromptu ones like the one we just encountered. But also, like, does it seem like, I don't know if I would get this, but does it seem like the facility is masquerading as something? Like, is it, because there's a reception desk upstairs, but this is a military research facility. So I'm just curious if it was like supposed to be something else.
I don't know if you get a sense of that or not.
Okay. I'm just vocalizing that.
Yeah. That's possible. But there's definitely a change in decor in this subterranean area.
Nothing else I can get from this station at this time. But if we could restore power or the network, there might be other records that could be accessed.
Muted.
Do we have the directions to the power generator or anything?
I'm unable to pull up a schematic of the facility, but there are at least 2 more floors below this one.
Great, just our luck. Okay. So we are in a room, not in a hallway yet, right? So there
Correct.
should be...
Correct.
Okay,
and to be clear, there's not a hallway. There's just the security area, which is kind of an enclave that's or alcove that's pushed out from the overall shape of this, and then a large double door, which again is not like your slide door up before. It's just a standard just like push door, like a push double door. Nothing fancy.
What's the lighting situation?
All you still have is that track lighting, which seems to be just tied to the ceiling, like where the ceiling and the walls hit. There seems to be like an LED track lighting that runs all around this building.
I'm going to turn my flashlight on.
Arlo's just tiptoeing, expecting there to be some sort of trap or trigger on the ground.
Any forks? So yeah, we continue sweeping the room, and if there is nothing of interest, we slowly walk to the door, just from the side. Try to open it, like just push the. I guess it's some kind of bar door or something like that. So just to push it to see if there is any turret shooting wildly at us.
So far more tentatively than you did with the elevator door. It's kind of a push the door and nobody falls on you. No shots get fired as you kind of creak it open. You can just kind of see where you are, from where you are, that leads to another similarly sized room, which has couches lining the walls from where you are, that you can see.
Okay, let's enter and sweep, and to see what we're looking at now.
So you swing the doors open, and this seems to be some sort of social lounge type area. Again, you have tables, you have couches, you have places. I think a hotel lobby. You know how hotel lobbies have like little areas for people to group and to talk to each other. So it's not a presentation room where everybody's supposed to be here. It's a place for people to go, and obviously to socialize as well. Looking around, there's nobody here. No bodies, no skeletal remains. There's a door directly opposite of you with a similar type double doors. Off to the right, you can see a door that's clearly marked barracks.
What's the feeling of the room? Is it like before, like it's dusty? It seems like the token of time.
So throughout
Made
all
his
of this, as old as everything seems, there isn't like dust, right? But it's also obvious to you it has not been used for a very, very long time. But it's hard to tell. Has it been 5 years or 50 years? There's just no real way to get a sense of it. But yeah, to a certain degree, I think you would expect the caked on dusk or the blow on the book, and, right, and just see the dust flow. But that's not the case here. And whether that's environmentally sealed, it's not clear why that's the case.
Any signs of struggles, scratches on the walls, any damage to any doors, blood, of course, I guess we would notice.
No blood, no spray painted messages.
No spray painted messages.
Arlo sits down on the couch.
When we look at the sensor, do we know if it goes to the direction, if the signal is stronger in the direction of the barracks or in the direction of the...
So the way this signal has been growing, it's not sensitive enough that if you go 10 feet this way versus 10 feet that way, right? It's just as you're making large moves, as you went 200 yards towards this building, right? As you went 80 feet down, then you're seeing noticeable changes in the strength of this signal. But it, by no means is it a locator where you can go left or right and get a sense of that. Does that make sense?
Can I modify it at all to give us any more information? Like to my comms device, or...
Ooh, that's interesting.
I have a locator.
Yeah, you want to try to kind of hack this a little bit? I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do jury rigging again. I'm not gonna base it on strength. Boo.
Not able to get it to refine beyond what it is.
Sure.
And to be clear, remember, it's not giving you the message, right? So there was the message, and then there's this distress signal, which are two different things. But no, you're not able to make it any more accurate than what you already have.
No dice.
Okay. In that case, I suggest that we go to the barracks. Maybe we could get some items there, refresh any medicine or any ammunition that we might need before venturing deeper into this complex.
Oh, I forgot to look at the turret. Does that also look like it came with the Defiant crew?
It's labeled as such, so you can see the property of Defiance. So this was brought by them.
Do we want to take it?
Say, is it mounted to the ground or is it on wheels or something? That can be
It's on
demobilized?
it's a tripod, and it would take 2 people to carry.
Like if we need it, we know where it is and we can
Yeah.
use it later. But let's not lose time with the static defense. Okay, let's proceed to the barracks then.
Let's go to the barracks.
Should we close the door behind us? That elevator. Just a thought. They were clearly waiting for something.
That's
Yeah,
actually a
but
really good
also
point.
it's
Yeah.
our escape route, so we want to be able to escape as fast as possible. And even with that ladder, it will be a struggle.
And Dean is napping in there presently.
Oh.
I
Is he
still have my
napping?
Alright.
body cam on him. I never took it off.
I assumed.
Yeah.
I thought you said he was unconscious. Maybe he's
Yes.
come to. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, he was rattled pretty good. I mean, he was shot.
Yeah.
And it seemed the doors were not like super sturdy and hard for us to open, and we would have to spend some time bracing them and jury-rig them to be closed properly. Yeah, I think we want to escape faster. If there's anything coming after us down, well, you don't want me to think about that.
We're screwed
go.
either way, right? So yeah, you got it. Yeah, let's just go.
Let's go to the barracks.
Okay, you get to the door.
Now we're afraid of doors.
Yeah, not it.
Yeah, Major's going safely.
This is a slide door like above, but more functional and industrial than, an office area. It's not locked. It's labeled barracks. So when you slide it, you can see it's a good sized barracks. Best you can guess, counting the beds that are lined up against the wall and in the center of the room, there's probably at least 20 beds here. Under each of the beds, there seems to be chests or lockers. The yellow light is shining all the way around, giving you some visibility. And it's empty. Except for the guy sitting on the bed at the far end with his back to you. And he is in some sort of uniform. It's not what you've seen from the Defiance.
So I will mark to Frankie to approach like from the left side. I will be approaching from the right side. We'll try to address that person. I don't know how this ends anyhow.
So a couple things real quick. These are things that your characters would have noticed, right? So you are not thieves in D&D, right? So you didn't stealth open the door. So noise was made as the door was opened. There was no reaction. As you step into the room itself is a good 40 feet. It's a decent sized barrack room, right? With 20 some odd beds. Again, footsteps, not quiet. Whoever this is with their back to you doesn't seem to be reacting to the door or your presence as you start to enter the room, you and Frankie.
Sir, we're here just to talk.
Does he have body heat with your infrared goggles?
He does. He turns and looks right at you, Major. Nondescript face, black, somewhat unkempt hair. He slightly overweight, maybe. Hard to tell. You can't really see his legs, or it's just where he's sitting, right? And because he doesn't pivot his body. He just kind of turns over, looks at you, emotionless, no change, and turn back and is facing the wall again. The same wall you're facing. His back is now to you again.
Were you the one who sent out the signal? We are trying to follow this distress signal and trying to find if there's anyone who we could contact and we could help. Try to make a few more steps as I'm talking. Try 10 more steps to get closer to him.
How close are
Frankie's
we getting?
following suit far on the other side of the beds.
Where's
It
Watts?
looks
What's
like.
Arlo?
Arlo's at the door. He has not moved inside after seeing this dude.
I'm maybe halfway as far as Major is, and when the guy doesn't respond, I might try to repeat the message in a different language that I guess might register.
Major and Frankie, you get, I don't know, 20 feet away. And he's not acknowledged anything you're saying or doing outside of that initial turnaround to face you. But as you get closer, you see on his back, Archon's security is kind of like a worn, very worn lettering on his back across his shoulder blades.
Would there be any check that I could use, like my tactical background, like to see, try to hint, like if we are walking into an ambush or something, like from this tactical perspective, like how good it would be for someone to jump us in these barracks?
I mean, let's say this guy was highly trained, a highly trained person. Getting closer than 20 feet, he, potentially could move on you pretty quick, right? Within 10, getting within that 20-foot perimeter. So if we're trying to stay out of like strike distance for a highly trained soldier, staying outside of 20 feet right now would probably would be smart. No roll needed though, really, Major, because like this is, it's effed up, right? Like this is just whatever's going on right now. Everything is wrong right now. How this person is reacting is wrong. Everything in this building is wrong. The air is wrong. That is just the overwhelming feeling the four of you have. It's just like everything is off.
I will continue increasing like the pressure on him and like, sir, do you know where is the backup generator for this so we could put on the electricity? We could power this station on. Sir, why aren't you
He slowly turns his head as you just are being so persistent and getting louder, as your voice gets more agitated, as your volume goes up a little bit more. He turns back to you again and looks at you, and now you've got a much closer look to him, right? We're staying outside of that 20-foot perimeter, but you're getting a much closer look at him. And there is no coloration at all in his face. He might be 30, 40 years old. It's really hard to tell. Maybe 50 pounds overweight. So not obese by any stretch of the imagination, but he doesn't hit the gym. I don't know how you piece this together. When the line appears down his face, like a zipper, and his face opens like a double door, and you see the teeth from inside what is not a face but a mouth. And the last time you saw something like this was on the Alexis. At the same time as you're seeing this thing, this head open to this maw of just saliva stretching between the teeth as it goes, that's when you realize two other things real quick. You haven't seen his hands or his feet, because as it turns, as it's going, the hands come up and they're these ungodly long clawed fingers. And the legs aren't legs. They're some sort of snake serpent thing, and this thing goes for you, Major. I need a speed test from everybody to see who goes first.
Any advantage for approaching cautiously, or knowing this beast from before? Maybe. from the
Yes,
listeners.
I will give both Frankie and the Major advantage on this speed test because of background and training.
And I will roll the motor training.
And just note for me whether you make it or don't make it.
So Major makes it with the advantage.
Arlo does not.
Okay.
No. Watts also does not.
Okay, so I've got Major making it. Watts not making it. What else?
Frankie, you're mute, I guess.
I made it. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for those that made it, you go first. Who's going?
As
I think
see
it will
this
be.
is
Yeah.
happening, my gun's already pointed at him on my flank, and I'm just going to rattle off bullets before he gets into close proximity with the Major. And so I'm gonna fire my SMG.
All right. Let's do a combat check.
Is there this bonus for the Marine? I couldn't find it in the new book. There was like, if they're fighting with another Marine, there's like plus.
You got a 5%
Something.
increase to your combat, if I remember correctly, right? So let's go ahead and
Okay.
apply that. So
5 base
Okay,
with
well-
an extra 5. Yeah.
Extra 5?
Yeah, you get
Ah,
5
okay.
plus an extra 5 for someone else. So I click on the actual SMG icon, right? Because it's not an actual combat. Will it?
I don't know. Try it. I think, does it work?
Yeah, 48. It should be 58 is my combat. Yeah. I do have close quarters.
This definitely applies.
So
So
that'd be an
is that-
extra 15.
Extra 15. So your combat then for this would be an additional 5 on top of that.
15 on top of what I rolled.
Yeah, close
Well,
quarters is
So
15.
it took a
Close
10
quarters.
mod in there.
Has been replaced
The
with
10 mod
hand-to-hand
is
combat.
based on me getting a +5 and the Major being next to me, because this actually has a field to add up your pluses.
Got it. So you're at 15
Instead
on
of
top
changing
of
the
that.
base.
So that would put you, that would be a success, right?
73. Yeah, that would be successful.
All right. So 16 damage. So you just, you start firing. And this thing, like a spring, just springs from where it is, right? So, and it seems like slow motion, but it's all happening just fast, right? The head turns, you realize as your body, as your mind registers that this thing is not a security guard that's just sitting at the barracks, wishing he wasn't out of cigarettes. This thing, the face opens up, the claws come out, and it springs at the Major. And Frankie, you were ready. And it's just, you just start firing at this thing, and it starts hitting it. You did 16 damage to it. It knocks it back. So it stops the momentum. It does not get to the Major. Who's next?
So Major will continue. As Frankie started shooting, I will be basically synchronized. I will pull up my SMG and try to do something.
All right, fire.
So how did you do that? You used SMG and military training as a bonus?
I wasn't able to do the two together. That's the problem. If you just click on SMG, it rolls your combat and then the damage as well, but you have to add your
Add the
skills
modifier
separately.
manually.
Yeah.
Or I can roll the skill with combat, right? Maybe that's...
Yeah, but it won't do
won't
the
do the
damage. So
damage
let's do it
as
through
well.
the weapon.
Oh, okay, I see. So I should have plus 10 for the... Yeah. And, sorry. And...
Oh.
Oh,
Critical.
critical success.
Do I clear one stress? Do I hear stress lowering?
So you go ahead and roll your extra crit damage. So see the little die at the bottom there?
Oh, yeah. Nice. Does it? Yeah, it does nothing when I click on it.
Oh, does nothing when I do it either. All right, so I thought maybe that was part of the new rules. Is there anything in the I don't remember there being anything about crit. Let's just quickly look. It's important. Hold on.
Just quick search the rules.
30 critical locations.
SMG, gunshot. Can be held one-handed. Whatever.
Critical successes deal a wound.
Oh, very nice. So we're going to do both. So ball comes out, leaps towards the major. These long stringed claws coming to go at Frankie's bullets hit first, stops the momentum of this beast as it springs towards the major. The major reacts a half second later, and you are just lighting this thing up. And it's falling back. It then hits the ground, falls behind the beds as it's going. This molasses thick dark blood is just spraying as these bullets are wriggling through this thing, and it's just this ungodly but oddly familiar sound of this sound, which is just like that beast that you encountered back on the spaceship. Who else succeeded?
Nobody.
All right. This thing launches from under the bunk. So you fall it on its back, and then Major, that's when you see it coming at you from under. You can roll a combat against it.
So combat with military training.
Yep.
And combat.
Oh, it failed. You don't need to bother. Sorry, I just realized it.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
it launches out and slides across the ground, and you can see it just scraping with its claws, right? It's just dragging its torso forward. You can still see the blood and the bullet holes through this where there was said security guard before, right? You can see where you hit this thing and the blood it's dragging. It's going like this, and it just swipes at you with its claws, and it tries to bite you with the mouth, and you're able to pull back in time, and it just and its face closes back up again as it tries to reach at like your foot and at your ankles. Arlo and Watts.
So for Arlo, he's doing the same thing you might have seen him do a few episodes ago. He's trying to figure out where his items are on his person, trying to figure out where that nail gun he placed, and just in complete shock. This is the first time the last time he saw this, it was through a tiny little camera screen. So yeah, he's trying to.
That's true. Both you and Watts have never seen anything like this in person, have you?
No. So yeah, he's losing it. He gets the nail gun, and he's trying to figure out what a nail gun is all of a sudden, despite having used it before.
So you pull into your pack, Arlo. You're trying to reach this rail gun, figure out which end to hold, and is there a safety? And you're just going, trying to get it all taken care of there. Watts.
I'm going to attempt calmly and expediently to get the fuck out of this room.
Okay. So this thing is very occupied with both Frankie and the Major.
I have a flare gun that I'd like to draw and have in hand, and I'm also, if I get outside of the door this round, I'm going to be looking for any kind of locking mechanism to be ready to hit when the Marines exit.
Okay. So that takes care of everybody's acted on this first round. The monster has acted. All four of you are acted. I need panic checks for everybody.
I will also be pushing Arlo out of the room if he's in the doorway.
More because he was blocking you, or because you're trying to save him?
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to do the first panic check?
Is it a fear or panic directly?
This is going to be a straight panic check. I'm not having you guys do a fear check here. This is a straight panic check. Hey, Sean, okay. I see you in chat, man. We're trying out the new Mothership rules for version 1, the alphas.
Major can start. Let's see.
Okay, so you're going to take, what's your stress?
3.
All right, so you're going to roll over a 3.
20, let's see.
All right, no panic for you. Who's next?
Arlo's at a 5.
Okay, D20, roll over a 5. Amazingly, Arlo does not panic. Frankie, what's your stress?
12.
Ooh.
Oh, very
nice.
nice. Watts.
I was at a 4.
Okay, you got none of you trigger a panic. Back to the top of the round. Both Frankie and the Major get to go.
I continue with the next burst. I think it can. Yeah, it has like 5 ammo. Yeah, it can do 5 bursts. I think if I'm Marine, so it should be working. And yeah, it says out of ammo. This is annoying.
That's fine. Just we're not.
Yeah, it doesn't allow
tracking
me
it.
to shoot.
Open up the sheet. You should be able to add ammo just by left clicking on ammo.
I just added 50 ammo or whatever.
That's great.
Okay.
Fastest
Do
reload
this.
yet.
And yeah.
You aim down. You start firing at this thing that was going for your ankles, and you unleash the bullets. Right.
I
Fire.
should have +10 then for the military, so it should work. I think.
Yeah, you'll be at 65.
Your combat's at 45. Then you got a mod of 10, which puts you at a
For
target
the
of 55.
Marine friendliness. Yeah, and then if military training or close quarters apply.
Okay, which you can use one or the other. What does that add?
Close quarters is +15.
Okay, so you're actually going to succeed. So this thing swipes with its mouth, its maw at you at your ankles. You're able to pull back. Frankie's was aiming, shooting up. He doesn't even he looks down to see this thing even before he moves his gun down. You're quick though, Major, because it was coming for you. Your gun drops and you light this thing up from the back, and it just firing into its back, and it's clawing towards you, just reaching and clawing towards you, and then it just at your toes. The claw 2 inches away just stops, and you just see so any muscles that were holding it up, that were pulling it along, just collapse. And then you just see this black molasses blood just spreading from the body. You get your first look at this serpentine, melded, fused legs that is below its torso. You look at the hands and you can see they maybe were human at some point, but it just had been stretched and extended out, and they're not claws like fingernails. They're just pointed, right? As it lays there. As it collapses, whatever muscles held the face together release, and just it kind of opens. And you get a full sense of just this mouth, this maw mouth that it just separates and opens on the face as it falls.
Definitely, if I seem to finally got rid of this beast by shooting him down, I reload and continue with the next magazine, and I just empty the next one into the bloody mess that's on the ground, just to be sure that I end it.
So you guys are watching as the Major is now kind of losing it a little bit, right? The thing is pretty dead, Frankie, and he's just now putting bullets into this dead body. What's your reaction?
To be honest, I was probably finger on the trigger, ready to do the exact same fucking thing. If there's a brief moment in time that I can see what's going on, I'm gonna beeline straight to the Major and try to calm him down. Conserve ammo.
To be sure that this thing is dead, and just still at one moment the magazine runs out of ammo quite quickly because it's not controlled burst, and it's and that calms him down, and realizing that okay, it's dead, just calms down, reloads, puts it on his side, just take a breather.
Is it dead?
Now it
From
is.
way back there.
Now it is.
Well done.
Okay. We should probably sweep the rest of the room if there's any cockroaches left or centipedes or anything, because these look like the things we faced already.
I'm gonna tear that Defiance patch off and throw it.
Oh, it wasn't a Defiance patch. This was an Archon security guard,
Security patch, yeah.
or a thing wearing an Archon security guard, depending on how you look at it.
Arlo's just frozen in the doorway. Still. So what's next?
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see if there are any extra ammo, any med kits, any stim packs.
one thing I
And
was
we
going to do is
continue.
search this monster, whatever, if it's actual pockets or if it's a visual, whatever. If there's anything in there, grab it. If not, we're in a bunch of beds around here. Just throw a sheet on top of it just so others can't see and deal with it.
Key cards.
So you do find another key card, a completely different type of key card than what you found on the Defiant Soldier. This thing is wearing clothes. When you kind of rip these, and it's kind of like a coverall, like a mechanic's coverall that it's wearing, and you kind of tear it, and it doesn't look like a snake body attached at the hips, right? What it looks like is that the legs just fuse together into this serpent type thing. And Arlo, you looking at this thing, it's not like whatever bone structure was under this at some point is gone now. But I want to get a sense of that this thing's, it looks like it became this, if that makes any sense, right? So this wasn't surgically enhanced. It wasn't like, it's pretty effed up.
That's exactly what I say. It's pretty effed up.
Well, it might be pretty effed up, but now we know it can die. I was not so sure previously on that ship. Because if I remember correctly, I was just running away from it and it didn't seem to take any damage.
Any sounds coming from anywhere else? Did that trigger anything?
No, in fact, if anything, it's wicked quiet. So it may have been this quiet before, but somehow it's quieter.
I guess the fun starts now, doesn't it? So since
Maybe that was it.
I think
Are there
the
any other
fun's
doors
back
in
at
this
the elevator.
Okay, back at the elevator.
What was that, Frankie?
Are there any other doors in this barracks room?
There is not. So all you got, it's pretty Spartan, right? So it's got the cots, it's got these lockers under each of the cots. Some of the cots had, sheets and pillows on them. Some were bare, some were made, some were unmade. But outside of the violence that just happened, no indication of any other violence in here or disruption.
If we search all these lockers underneath these cots, do we find anything of interest?
What are we doing?
I'm gonna start searching around in this room for anything of use.
Yeah. Ammo, medkits, stim packs.
So Frankie's doing it, the Major's doing it. What are Arlo and Watts? Are they helping? What's happening? I get a sense of how long this takes.
Arlo's probably stepping back into the other room, thinking about that couch again.
Arlo plops himself back down on the couch. Watts?
I'm gonna sit next to him, but with very, very straight posture.
To make sure he gets the negative on his fear check.
Even for 150 years ago, this building is nowhere near fire code compliant. There's only one exit to every room.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Arlo doesn't repeat or respond, but his body sure does. He tenses up even more.
So Frankie Major, you start pushing the cots aside, flipping open these foot lockers, which are not a whole lot different than the foot lockers that Marines use now, right? Not much has changed in all of these years. You flip it open, you're finding personal effects, things. You're not paying a whole lot of attention. We're not doing this slow, right? We're flying it open. Is there anything useful? You're going. Major, you can go ahead and pick up another 5 of the stim packs. I forget what they're called, MDCs or whatever they called in this.
Stim packs. I have stim pack in my
Yeah,
hand.
go ahead. As you go through, Major, you're able to find 5 stim packs. You find some ammo.
Which is virtual in this case, right?
Exactly. Frankie, you're doing the same. you're going through and you're tossing the place at this point, right? The first one you were probably careful, right? Is it going to open up and am I going to get shot by a turret inside one of the? But as you get more and more familiar with this, as the contents of these increase, I'm imagining Frankie, you getting more reckless, right? Kicking the cot over and throwing the thing up, and going and going, and personal effects. You just grab it and like there might be books and you're tossing them and just looking, flipping the books open, and a picture out of one of the books falls out. It's not the first paper and things that went on there, but something makes you stop. Tell me about Frankie's family. Parents alive? How old are your parents? Do you have brothers, sisters, kids, wife?
Yeah, no wife. Parents that an older brother that was the opposite body type of Frankie, so skinny and slender and buff. The other guy's buff and more cornbread. And parents were proud of him, not of me.
Where'd you grow up?
On a farm, on Earth, I guess.
And it's odd because as far in the future as we are, I'm imagining your farm was like a Kent farm, right? The white big fields, the barn in the back with the silos. And if we were to go there today and look, closer inspection, you can see the future, right? You can see that, the way things are wired and stuff. But if you were driving up to this farm, it would be like being transported back, to the 50s. And that's what makes you stop when this picture falls. And you grab it and you pick it up and it is the farm. It looks a lot like your farm. Jesus, it is your farm. And your brother, your mom, your dad and you, arm in arm. Before you enlisted, the group picture they took before they took you for enlistment. You turn the picture over. It says good luck. Let's go to credits. We'll be back on the other side. Good place to end it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Nick, we got it. Talk to me.
I was so ready to react, but in the pit of my stomach, I knew you were going to say Fade to Black. Like,
You
was
played
like-
with me before.
yeah, it
You've
was like,
learned.
oh, this is getting it, and then I gotta wait another week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever, you know. And
So
my
let's
God.
save Frankie's reaction for the next episode. I want Nick's reaction. And let's work backwards. So let's start here and then tell me about the rest of the episode.
Yeah, reaction to this point as a player is it's adding that extra dynamic. Is it physically my step? Is it is it this future time thing that might be happening? Is there something more? Is there something less? Am I overthinking it? It's making my wheels spin, which is what you want to happen, and it's exciting, and I've got a lot of time to think about it, unfortunately. So that was fantastic. The playthrough today, not only was it amazing to play with these guys again, haven't
Yeah.
seen y'all in a while, but this was great getting back into the mix of things and running through this facility. And there's so many moments I was just ready to get rid of Dean. He was so annoying. He's like, oh, just leave him there.
You're welcome.
You know? Yeah. So, but no, this is a great session, start to finish. My God.
Kyle, what worked for you? What didn't work for you?
Well, I guess the drawer didn't work. No, this was from beginning to end amazing. It just feels so good to be back into the mix of this horror. Felt good to step into the shoes of Arlo once more. Right from the beginning of losing those plants, he was, Cloud9 brought back down to reality, and it just kept getting worse and worse from there. So I loved it.
Vaslav, what do you think's going on? What do you think is next as a player?
So, as a player, okay, what's going on? I'm suspicious of some time travel slippage or some phenomena that put these barracks in, or this research facility that shouldn't be in this time or space, even maybe related to some black holes or something like that. So that's why we're facing this. First clue was that suitcase in that jungle. Then this was happening. So that's interesting. What I can't connect still, the creature that we just fought to the creature on the ship. Why would they move also here, or was it they are just in this area in general? What's coming next? I hope some alien ass kicking, because Major got his morale up by killing one of these. So it was crazy. Oh shit, not this thing again, and we can actually kill it. So let's see where it takes us.
So DZ, you're in charge of putting together the highlight reel. What are the three big highlights for you as editor of the highlight reel?
Probably like a montage of seeing the blown out section of the wall, going in, entering that storage room, seeing all the old bodies and fresh one, the wall, the message on the wall, the elevator going down, the encounter with the turret would probably be a major highlight scene, and the encounter in the barracks then.
Any particular moment that really worked for you as a player, that you really felt immersed, that you were there?
I mean, I agree. This session has been like one of the best of the campaign so far for me. Like it hit all of the marks for a good session of this genre.
Yeah. It just worked.
Yeah, where it had like the natural buildup of the tension from the beginning to the end of the session, but also still leaves a lot of room to go.
Yeah.
Next time. And I don't know if this picture is just adding another mystery on top of a very large stack of mysteries, or if it's elaborating on something that we already know and we don't realize the connection yet. I suspect that Frankie has just been infected by some mind parasite and he's just hallucinating this. So I'm curious to see what the rest of us see when we look at this picture. But yeah, it was a great session.
Or if Frankie
Thanks.
shares that picture.
Yeah.
So there's a few things going on. One, for game wardens that are watching, this is Don Shroud's Dead Planet, the kind of the first official material that was put out. If Mothership has done anything, it's it has inspired creators. There is a ton of material out there. But this was the first one. This is why we're here. And plus I love the episodic nature of Dead Planet. It's really 3 adventures that are tied together. We're in the 3rd part now on the Dead Planet itself. I have done a few things. I've gone off book. So if those of you familiar with Dead Planet, you're already noticing me diverging. That's purposeful on my part. It's what I end up doing. It's part of my process of listening to the table. And you know, when I use written adventures in general, for me, they start off as a premise and a concept, right? And then I'll take it places, but more than anything, I follow my players as well. There is another resource that I've pulled in here, and I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything for anything, but some of the best money I've ever spent on Mothership. And it's by Ian Newsom, who's the person who did Hull Breach. He put together a thing called From Nightmares. You can get it on his itch, and it is I think it's pay what you want. I think I gave him $5. It's worth $30, and it's 2 pages long. Just Game Wardens, go buy it. Just go to itch, look up Ian Newsom, same guy that did The Drain, the guy that's doing Hull Breach right now. It's called From Nightmares. If you want to hear us talk about it, go to the Tabletop Talk, my interview with him. You can hear us talk about what From Nightmares is. It turned up this session to 11 for me. Because there's like 3 different things I pulled from it to spice this here, and it's perfect salt to your Mothership meal. And it can be used anywhere. So I'm going to leave it at that. Big thanks to everybody in the chat. Love seeing all the conversations going on. The subs, DZ, thanks for the gift sub. I saw that and I really appreciate it. For those of you watching the video on demand, if you're watching it on Twitch, if you could just hit that follow for me. If you want to subscribe, that would be amazing as well. If you're watching on YouTube, it's free. Like and subscribe. Put a comment down there. Tell me what you think is going on. What do you think is happening right here? Even if you've read Dead Planet, you may not know what's going on right here. Most importantly, God, I missed you guys. I really did.
What a comeback.
Oh, and you guys are such a great cast together, and it's a combination of the fact that all of you wear your characters well, and the characters are together but have no business being together, and it's all working. It's all working, and I don't know how much longer we have to go, but we can't wait this long again to play again.
Feb 6th, right?
Yeah, I think February 6th is when we're scheduled again to play again. So we'll see everybody soon. Again, in the comments, let me know what you thought about this.